But I do want to kind of get into some of the other topics that we did have today. I have been seeing this shit all over the place, man. In 2024,
Okay.
apparently men, on average, are not approaching women like they used to. We're not cold approaching. We're not going up to them at bars. We're not approaching them on the streets. We're not approaching them in the grocery stores. I think there was a crazy stat that was like 90% of young men, just like all together, just like, yeah, we're just not.
90 is huge, bro.
Yeah, I know, which is just like wild. I'm like, are you guys sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure about that?
Yo, can we recheck? Can we rerun the test, bro?
Like 90%, like that's damn near 100. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like that's wild. I ain't gonna lie, that's wild.
But I have been seeing that a lot of young guys are not approaching ladies, man. And more and more, I'm seeing TikToks of ladies like, yo, why aren't they approaching? Like, why aren't they doing this?
So they're
Why aren't they
upset.
yeah. Well, I mean, some of them are upset. Others are confused. Others are just like, yo, how can we fix this? Why is this?
Confused.
Why is this? Yeah, because I mean, a lot of ladies don't understand like why we're not. You know. My hypothesis and my thought process behind it, I actually don't think. I don't think it's a bad thing we're not doing it no more. It's just because we kind of have our priorities straight now. Like, I think social media has opened this Pandora's box for ladies wherein they have been so vocal with certain things that us guys have taken notice and we're like, we're not doing this no more. I've seen tons of videos of ladies saying, stop approaching us. I've seen videos of ladies screaming at guys. I remember watching the video yesterday. A guy in a wheelchair approached a woman.
Yeah, that's wild.
This is just, and this is just kind of cements it, bro. I guess she felt offended that a disabled man would approach her, and she kept telling him to go away, and then she said some shit that I just like, bro. She was like, yo, let me see you walk, and I'm like,
That's mad disrespect.
why would you say that to him?
That's so
I'm like, why would you? It takes so much courage to approach in the first place. To then do something like that is just like, bro, like why is that the go-to? You know, like can't you reject respectfully? Can't you kind of turn a man down respectfully? It's come to the point now where a lot of ladies are kind of taking it upon themselves, and they're being forced to like approach men, and they're being forced to like go talk to guys just because like it's not happening to them anymore, and guys just aren't approaching. Like so many young men have decided just like I just don't, like it's just not worth my time, and I can't blame them. Like I, as a young man myself, I remember I used to preach cold approaching. He was like, yo, bro, go approach girls. Yeah. Do it. You listen back to any of the older podcasts, some of the older ones, which is why I kind of like the show, because it shows.
You see the progression.
Yeah, you see the growth. You see just how like we both have changed over just like the years of doing this. But that's one of the things. Like I don't believe like we should be doing that no more. You know, I think we should be very selective with who we approach now. Like we should not just be approaching girls on the street. We should not just be approaching girls.
And not even for practice.
Man, it's tough. It's tough.
Because I'll say this, and I understand where you're coming from, but play a little devil advocate.
Mm-hmm.
How do you? The one thing about code approaching that, and I can understand where you're coming from, but the one thing about code approaching is it helps you get comfortable with talking and walking up to women.
I understand. Yeah, I agree.
So I guess, fine, if you don't think it's smart for men to approach and to code approach, that how would they get practice in terms of talking to women and be comfortable with talking to women?
I'm gonna say this: when a woman genuinely likes you, and if you were to approach her, she herself will make it comfortable. It's just hard for me to tell young men now, because I even watched a video the other day, like 2 days ago. It was a police officer who approached a woman, and like what saved him was the body cam footage he had on.
Yeah.
But he approached her. He said, "Hi, I think you're quite beautiful." This, that, the other, and she accused him of like, I don't want to say like the R word, but like,
oh my gosh,
she accused him of that, bro. And like, the only thing that saved him was the fact that he had the body cam footage.
Yeah.
So if I'm gonna go tell young men my age to go approach women, when there are ladies out there, of course it's not all women, but there are ladies out there that are willing to use that against you, I can't, in my good conscience, say go out there and practice, bro. It only takes one time.
Yeah.
It only takes one time for someone to accuse you of some shit that you ain't do. You know? And it's like, if situation, it only takes one time to ruin your life.
I guess that is very true, man.
It's hard for me to, it's just hard for me to justify it now. It's difficult. I get the whole practice thing, I do, and I think it's smart to practice. But it's just tough. It's real tough.
I understand it's tough. And listen, man, I understand you, because especially situations like that really is rough. And it really is unfortunate that it's kind of gotten to that point. But at the same time, we both know that the only way to get good at talking to women is talking to women.
Of course.
So if you're not going to cold approach a woman, you got to find some type of way to still talk to women.
I believe you can still socialize with ladies, but not like cold approach them, you know? Like talking to someone at the store.
But you still, what I'm saying is, I guess cold approaching is like approaching to pull up. I guess how I look at it is too, like you still got to approach her. You still got to approach and still try to make a conversation. So I guess regardless, you still kind of got to take that risk eventually to a certain extent.
True.
Because even though you could just approach a woman just to like compliment her, just to start a conversation, and she can still accuse you of something unfortunate.
True. Yeah.
So regardless, it's kind of like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't in a way. But I guess my argument would be like there has to be some type of way for a man to get good at talking to women. And the only best way is to you still gonna have to somewhat approach, because there's some dudes working in fields that they don't really have women to really talk to or approach. So like you can use job work, and like for me, I'm kind of fortunate because I work around women. A lot of ladies, yeah. I work with women. Yeah. So I've had, even if I don't approach women, which I have, I kind of get practice a little bit, kind of just at work.
Just talking to girls.
Talking to them, just being able to talk to them and able to have a conversation with them and stuff like that. Yeah. But I do think there are men out there who are like, construction workers. And let's be honest, in the construction industry, it's typically...
It's really predominantly...
It's typically more male. Now, I know they are trying to make it more like diverse but let's be honest now. Yeah. We know what the majority is.
The majority is male.
And, there's some dudes who are working hard, which I got nothing but respect for. You got to get that money. And I would actually advise you continue to keep on working, continue to grow. But there's some dudes who are out there working 60, 70 hours a week, but yet they can't talk to women. And when there is time for them to actually talk to a woman, because they have no practice, they kind of just either freeze up or just fumble the bag, don't really know what to say.
This is kind of where I kind of think we now have to put it on the women, though. And
in terms of what, them approaching us?
Yeah, bro.
Like, come on.
No. I'm not going. It's different times now. They're equal. They're equal.
Do you actually think that's going to happen?
I mean, I know it ain't going to happen, but that's what I'm saying. You got to put it on them, bro. That's what I'm saying. We got to put it on them now, because bro. I'm not going to blame all women, but women as a collective have created a very toxic landscape when it comes to approaching them. Okay. It's hard to approach them now. You can't expect us to go out there when we know what the consequences could possibly be if we approach the wrong woman. And you don't know if you're approaching the wrong woman.
That is true.
That's why I'm like, I can't justify going out there to do this. But we know, us men, we not going to accuse you of nothing if you come approach us. Chances are, there's a good chance, and people know this collectively. If a woman approaches a man, there is a higher chance that they'll get together than if a man were to approach a woman.
Yeah, of course.
Because us guys, that's a green light right there for she's interested.
That she likes you.
Exactly. So that's why I got to put it on them.
But I guess
I know it's gonna be nerve wracking. I know it's gonna be scary. Okay, but they're big girls now. They're strong and independent. They can handle it. They should be able to handle this.
Listen,
they got to do it. If they want guys,
I agree.
If they want men, they gotta be able to.
I agree
to
with
play
you,
the game.
But I don't think they are, and that's the problem.
The shit, we don't have a lot of single people, bro. That's really how it's gonna be. That's just how it's gonna be.
We already do.
Because like that in my mind, that's the only other option we have now. If one sex is like, yo, apparently, because I don't know how true the stat is, but apparently like 90% of guys aren't approaching anymore.
That's so.
I know. It's
just outrageous.
I know it's high, bro. But like, think about all our friends. Okay. Think about all our friends in the team. There's 10 of us. How many of us are really approaching women? Miles, one. Shit. That's damn near 90% of us not doing it.
Miles not even approaching women.
Well, I mean, he's the only one with girls.
Yeah, but he gets the shit offline.
That's still actually, yeah.
Because then if that,
yeah, that's not really.
That's not approach. Because you said cold approach.
Yeah.
Which is
meeting girls out in the streets.
So nobody.
I mean, bro, that right there just shows you. And there are plenty of other guys just like us. We don't even be doing it like that. I did it more in Italy. I did it more in just Europe because the landscape was just different. I don't be doing this shit out here.
Yeah, I don't be doing it. Every once in a while. Typically, a lot of times when I do is because we're playing Azar.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, like, I guess that's every once in a while when we play Azar.
But it's not because it's not of your, like, voluntary. It's not because you want to. It's just because you're playing the game.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
You know? And a lot of guys aren't playing Azar just to go talk to girls. They're just not approaching women at all.
That's true.
So they see a girl, they think she's beautiful, but they just let her go. And she don't know that could have been your husband. Not to say that it is, but it could have been. You know, that could be your soulmate. But because a couple bad apples ruined it for everybody, now men on average just aren't approaching. I don't think it's 90%.
Bro, there's no.
It's a crazy stat.
That's like
I think that's really high, but I do believe on average men just aren't approaching women anymore.
I agree with that.
And I think it's just because a couple bad ladies messed it up for just women on average, and now it's just not the wave anymore. Not to mention we have dating apps. Who's approaching women when you can just hit a girl up? Where is the incentive to do it when it's easy that way?
I think that's a huge reason why. And I also think, because I think regardless of man or women, no one's like rejection.
Nah.
And it's much easier to get rejected over a phone because shorty ain't hit you back up.
Yeah.
Than for shorty to look at you dead in your eye and be like,
nah, I don't want to talk to you no more.
Exactly. That hits a little different.
Shit hurts, bro.
It's just not that shit hits a little different.
Yeah,
so
bro.
I think that plays a part into why a lot of men are cold approaching. I agree with you in terms of I've seen some very unfortunate videos of, like, I don't know, just bitches being mad rude for like.
I remember watching a guy. All he did, he walked up to her and says, "Hey, I think you're beautiful." She said, "Fuck off." Why do you have to respond that way?
It's not even necessary.
Why do you have to respond that way? And that doesn't encourage anyone to want to approach.
Videos like that make men look at that and be like, "Yo, why would I do that?"
We see that shit, bro. We see it and we're just like, "Yo, if that's gonna happen to him, who's to say that's not gonna happen to me?"
That is true, but I guess how I also look at it too is, I guess here's the problem. Like, what's an alternative that's actually going to be done? So I understand what you said about the whole women thing.
Women approaching, yeah.
But that's what I'm saying is what's actually going to be done.
No, hear me out. Women are actually starting to do it. It's not the mass.
I could tell.
But there are women there are still women that are like, I'll never do it. There are still women out there that are like, I'll never do it. But there are women that are like, yo, if men aren't going to approach me and I want a relationship, what other options do I have? They don't want to use the dating apps no more because dating apps not working. Yeah. You know? So what other options are there?
I guess
you have to go out there and meet people.
Because it's not the mass, I think that's the... So, yeah.
Men aren't even buying girls drinks. That's come to a stop these days.
But I still don't think... How do I say this? I understand where you're coming from. And you know what? Maybe there is a shift in terms of females now starting to approach men, but I still don't think that's going to fix the problem because I truly don't believe
it won't happen on a large scale.
I don't see that happening. And like, that's my point. What you're saying actually makes logical sense. I am not arguing that because, like, logically, if you want a man and a man is not coming up to you, then maybe you should start going up to men. Logically, that makes sense. Like, that's a very quick, easy solution. Mm-hmm. But just how females are, especially females, if you want to just talk about our generation, I don't see them all of a sudden being like, I don't got a man. Men don't come up to me, so you know what? I'm going to go out and I'm going to hunt and I'm going to be the one who goes out and get. I just don't see that happening on a mass scale. Now, there are going to be some girls who get it and understand, like, listen, like, I got to do what I got to do. And I completely respect that because I agree with you. If a pretty enough woman comes up to a man.
Yeah, bro, we're going to say yes.
We're going to say yes.
It's just what it is.
Like, it's just.
We don't get approached enough to say no.
All,
it don't happen to us enough for us to go around saying no. Exactly. But I just don't see a lot of females following suit, especially in a world where because that brings rejection, because that does bring trials, because obviously there are going to be women who are going to get rejected. They're just not going to want to do it. So I think they're going to kind of stomp their feet and just be upset
And us men are kind of just gonna be like, well, it is what it is. I also do think that, you know what I'm saying?
I actually do think
Some men are just gonna be like, it is what it is.
What it is.
And also, it's unfortunate, but with the rise of essentially porn and stuff like that, and I will also even put dating apps.
And OnlyFans too.
It's just men have other ways to, one, get their fix.
Facts, yeah.
So they don't even need a woman. Not saying that is right, but it's kind of true.
Yeah, we don't need a woman to do those
and
things.
then on top of that, and this is why I think dating apps are bad, is because I think dating apps are another reason why cold approaching is down. Because why would I, think about it like this, as a man, why would I go out and see a girl walking down my street and go down there and be like, hey, whoop-de-whoop, this is this, I think you're attractive. When I can sit in the comfort of my own home,
swipe on a couple,
look at my friend and see that same girl and be like, oh.
Swipe, hit her up.
Okay, swipe.
Yeah.
Oh, we happen to match. Okay, let me hit her up.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh, damn, she just never responded or left me on. Okay.
It is what it is.
And you just go on, and because on the dating apps there's just so many females, you damn near forget about the ones who rejected you. Because like, all right, she rejected me, okay, but I matched with her. So I'm going to talk to her. Okay, she rejected me, so I'm going to... And rejection, like we kind of just said earlier, it hurts so much less on the phone.
Yeah.
When a girl just doesn't respond back to you, it doesn't suck, yeah, but it's like...
All right, well, you kind of keep it pushing.
Compared to like a girl looking at you and be like, no.
Nah, I don't want to give my number.
Yeah.
Walks off.
Can I have your number? No. It's like, damn, okay. You know what I'm saying? It really is like, okay. And like,
Yeah, well, have a nice day type shit.
Yeah, for real. Like,
that's it. Take care.
Yeah, take care. So I think that also plays a huge reason to why men don't cold approach either. And then on top of that, if you want to add the videos and women kind of complaining about cold approaching. But I do think it's kind of ironic how you would complain about cold approaching and then like now when guys have kind of done what you asked for.
Yeah, I've and this is I just stopped doing it in the U.S. specifically. I'll gladly approach a woman anywhere else. I just in the United States, man, it's just too much of a high risk for me personally. I've just seen so many videos of women saying, "Don't approach us. We don't want you to approach us," and then now, and that was over the past like 5 years.
Yeah.
And in the last year and starting of this year, I'm starting to see more videos of women saying, "Why aren't men approaching us? They need to do more approaching." I see this really cute guy, and he just walked past me. He didn't say anything. Like, I don't know why. And I'm like, well, y'all beat it into us since like damn near 2018 onwards that we shouldn't be talking to you. We shouldn't approach you at the grocery store. We shouldn't approach you in, what was it, the parking lots or anything like that. You know, we can't talk to you out at the gym because y'all focusing on your working out. We can't talk to you in the workplace because the whole like Me Too movement and thing. And of course that was good, but I kind of think it did kind of go a little bit too far in regards to absolutely destroying how men and women work together. To the point where now the relationship market is just so polarized between both of us. I can't blame guys for not wanting to approach. Because like, yo, y'all screamed it on the top of your lungs. You don't want us to. So we stopped. We gave you what you wanted. We stopped. And now it's like, well, why aren't anyone approaching us? Yeah. It was like, what do you want? What do you want? And I remember hearing something in the past when I was a younger man from older men. It was like, yo, don't listen to women because women don't know what they want. And I think it is kind of true now. Now I'm seeing this. I think it is more true so than not.
It's like it's kind of adding up.
Yeah, because it's like, yo, don't listen to them because they don't even know what they want in that regard. They want us to approach them, but at the same time, they don't want us to approach them. It's like, how do you make that work?
That doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So now I think it's just going to lead to a lot of sad men and sad women. I think, unfortunately for the ladies, though, because men are kind of built to be solitary, we are going to
a lot of men are fine by themselves.
Not benefit from this, but like it's not going to have as large of an impact on us because like we're used to being alone. Yeah. We're used to not having a whole bunch of females. We're used to not having a whole bunch of people around us. So we're perfectly fine waking up, going to the gym, going to work, coming home, playing video games, just doing whatever we want to do.
We also have kids almost at like damn near
any age, bro.
I saw this nigga was 74.
I saw a guy. I saw a man. He was like 84.
Yeah.
He got a girl pregnant. You know, and unfortunately for the girls, they really only have a specific time. Of course, you do get your anomalies of ladies having their kids at 70.
You can still have,
you know,
I've never seen 70.
Yeah, I saw a woman. She had twins at 74, which is crazy. I was like, wow. Apparently, the older as a woman, the older you have kids, the higher chance you get twins. I didn't know that was. Yeah, I know, right? It's crazy.
God bless her.
But of course, on average, you really only have until like 30, 35. You know, and every time after that, it's just cutting, you know? So it's tough. And I also remember seeing this stat that back in like 2021, it was 30% of women of marital age will be single and childless. Now in 2024,
like 50 or something?
Now in 2024 it's jumped up to 50.
Okay.
So literally in the span of like 3 years, we've gone from 30% to 50%. I can only imagine what when actually 2030 gets here, what the numbers are going to really be.
Yeah.
You know, because it's just the relationships between men and women now are not the same. They're not what it was like when I was growing up as a kid.
Nah.
You know, it's just not. It's not the same, man. It genuinely feels like a war for some people.
I guess the only thing I would say about code approaching, because I don't think I'm definitely not as adamant about not code approaching, compared to you.
And it was crazy because I was such a voucher for it back in the day.
Facts. I still don't think it's a horrible thing. Now, yes, you still gotta be careful with these bitches. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
You still gotta be careful in how you do it and how you approach them. I think that plays a huge part. But the reason why I don't think code approaching is that bad is because you have to find a way to get good with talking to women. So if you don't have a way to get good with talking to women that's not code approaching, then you got to find some type of way.
But let me ask you this, though. Is it really that important to do that in the first place?
Well, I think if you ever want to get a girlfriend ever, then yeah.
What if a lot of guys are just like, I ain't interested.
If you don't ever want to get a girlfriend or ever want to do anything sexual with a female, ever, do what you want. But I'm just saying, if you ever would like to get a girlfriend or to have sexual relations with a lady or want a wife or kids, then you have to find a way to be able to talk with women. Whether you do it by cold approaching, whether you do it at your workplace.
I think there are other ways besides cold approaching, man.
Well, I just think approaching women. Now, maybe not cold approaching, but you still got to approach a woman.
Yeah.
And that's what maybe I shouldn't say cold approaching. But maybe I say approach, you still got to, through friends.
Yeah, you can be with friends.
But also, if your friends don't got any females to talk, you know what I'm saying, bro? Yeah. If you're already not talking to females, right?
Yeah.
And your friends are also on that same wave, then you really have no other females to talk to.
True.
Think about it like this. I don't meet females think about the question you asked. Does a team, do we be code approaching?
Yeah,
I don't meet females through y'all. Yeah. I meet females through me going out there.
Yeah.
That's how I meet females. Yeah. None of my ladies come through y'all.
Yeah.
Except it's like a girl that we already knew through high school, and then none of my females come through my friends. So it's kind of like if you would eventually in the future like to do anything with a female, you have to find a way to be able to talk and communicate with her and be relatively decent. And I'm only going to speak from my own experience. But I went through a time where I wasn't really that great at speaking to females. That's because I didn't speak to females. I got good at speaking to females by actually speaking to females. And that meant I had to go approach some women. Sometimes I kind of worked out to be in a profession that's predominantly women.
True.
So I kind of got lucky in that regard because I'm damn near around all of them. So it's like, all right, well, what's up? I'm just out here talking to them. I'm not saying I'm talking to pull up on them, but just being able to
cordial and talking.
Talk to them.
Yeah.
So fine, if men, you don't want a code approach, that's cool. But I do think you got to find a way to be able to talk to women if you want a girlfriend or a wife or have sexual relationship with a female in the future.
Yeah. I can't disagree with that, man. I'm not going to be too harsh with it because at the end of the day, that is still how we were still meant to meet people.
Yeah.
You know, I still believe that. And I don't believe just because one or two, and it's not even one or two, so I can't even just say that, but just for the sake of this argument, one or two ladies are out there yelling at the top of their lungs that they shouldn't approach, that men shouldn't approach. You know, the ladies who accuse guys of doing things that they didn't do just because there's a possibility that it happens, you should cut it out of your life altogether.
Yeah.
But
I could say proceed with caution.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, you know that might be honestly the best way to put it. Right? Proceed with caution. Watch out for just specific signs that might be wary. Of course, don't approach a woman at midnight.
Oh yeah, like there are
in
times,
the parking lot.
Yeah, for real. Because she's by herself.
Yeah,
running after shorty, bro.
Yeah, that might sketch her out a little bit. Just pick your moments in regards to that. But I think I'm gonna still put it on the ladies. They can make it easier.
Yes, they can. Yes, they can.
They can make it easier.
Yes, they can.
They can understand that it's not that easy to just approach a stranger, and that you shouldn't just curse us out for approaching you.
Fuck off is wild.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Yeah. just because someone has a disability that doesn't give you a right to just be like, yo, you can be mean to them just because you feel some type of way of them approaching you.
Disrespectful.
It's just it's just the attitudes need to change. Yeah. And I think if they can learn to reject respectfully, a lot of men would come back. Because we can handle rejection because we're built for it. It's just a part of our day to day. And
sometimes it's just how you say no.
As men, it's just something that we have to do. However, how you say no is important. If a girl tells me to fuck off, I can guarantee you I probably won't approach another girl for like another couple months. Yeah. It's like, all right, I'm just going to take some time off, recoup, focus on myself. Like, it's just not going.
Let me reevaluate my goals.
You know? And I've never had that happen to me, but like, I've seen videos of guys going through that. And I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't be happy with that.
I can only imagine how that guy feels.
Exactly, bro. That shit must suck. You know? And I know no girl would want a guy to be like, yo, fuck off. Y'all, it would absolutely destroy their ego if like a guy was like, yo, fuck off. They'd never approach a guy again. I guarantee it. Yeah. You know? So like they have to understand that like it's a two-way street.
It ain't that easy.
If you want us to approach you, we will. But just be nice about rejecting us if that's what you want to do, you know? And like give us signs that y'all want to approach us in the first place. And don't be afraid to approach us at all because there's a good chance that you'll get what you want.
Yeah.
That's just my perspective though.
Understood.